Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Andrew Olson, and you are watching a classic cinema review. Sun Valley Serenade, directed by H. Bruce Humberston and released by 20th Century Fox in 1941. The film opens at a recording studio in New York City. Jack Murray is looking for a band to brighten the winter season events at Sun Valley. Jimmy Norton's band with singer Vivian Dawn is auditioning when the lead trumpet player plays right through her cue to sing. Meanwhile, Phil Corey's Dartmouth Troubadours stop by looking for an appointment with Mr. Murray. They don't get one, but they do witness the foul-up as well as Vivian quitting Norton's band on the spot. The Troubadours piano player Ted Scott tells Vivian on her way out that he agrees with her reason for quitting. She warms to his support, and a mutual attraction grows between them rather quickly. Jack Murray asks if she'll reconsider. Vivian announces, however, that she'll only continue the audition if it's with the Troubadours. Everyone agrees, and success is made soon after. The band gets the Sun Valley job, plus a gig at a local club to tide them over for a few weeks until they leave. Everything is swell until Uncle Sam arrives and presents a notice from the immigration office. 6 months prior, the Troubadours manager Nifty Allen conducted a publicity stunt announcing that the band was going to adopt a little refugee child from war-torn Europe, and Ted was the one who signed the application. Band leader Phil Corey reads that the child is set to arrive on the 10th. The Dartmouth Troubadours meet the refugee at Ellis Island only to find she is not the little child they were expecting. However, she is a beautiful young woman from Norway named Karen Allen. Not only is she a surprise to everyone, but she is also old enough to know what she wants in life. She wants a handsome husband, and her rather attractive sponsor, Ted Scott, is a pretty good candidate. And she doesn't hesitate to show her affections towards him either. That evening at the club, a love triangle starts when Karen tells Ted that he is the one she is looking for. Vivian joins them moments later, leaving Ted in an awkward spot. A little bit later, the love triangle turns into an out-of-round square when Nifty stops by Karen's room with flowers. He's a little sweet on her. Nifty tells Karen that she'll be staying with his aunt in New York while the band is on the road. Karen, however, talks him into sneaking her aboard the train headed for Sun Valley. At Sun Valley, the band settle in to the Winter Wonderland Resort. Ted and Vivian's romance is in full swing, but when Karen is discovered by Ted, he gets worried that she'll cause trouble for him. And it doesn't take long for Karen to distract Ted from Vivian and work. It becomes apparent to everyone but Ted that Vivian is a tad on the superficial side and isn't much fun, not wanting to ski with him or dance with him on the dance floor. Karen, however, is a great skier, a wonderful ice skater, and she does her best to show that she would be a much more active partner in a relationship. Despite her intentions, Karen's actions to win Ted's affections become rather underhanded, culminating in a phony skiing accident at night that prevent Ted from getting to the bottom of the mountain. Worried, Vivian, Nifty, and Phil Corey arrive with the ski patrol at the mountain cabin where Ted and Karen have taken refuge for the night, and they all hash out their differences together. The future of the band's engagement at Sun Valley is at stake, as well as at least a couple of personal relationships, but I won't say who gets who in the end. Sun Valley Serenade is a light-hearted, fun, romantic comedy that really swings with the music of Glenn Miller and his orchestra. There are a lot of A-list actors in this one. Let's run down the list real quick. Sonja Henie as Karen Benson, John Payne as Ted Scott, Glenn Miller plays Phil Corey, Milton Berle as Nifty Allen, Lynn Barry plays Vivian Dawn, Joan Davis as Miss Carstairs. Joan Davis makes a few very brief appearances, and I don't believe her character's name is ever mentioned, but we'll get to her in a minute. William B. Davidson as Jack Murray, Elmira Sessions as Karen's nurse, another cameo appearance. The Modernaires, the Nicholas Brothers, Dorothy Dandridge, and of course Glenn Miller's orchestra as the Dartmouth Troubadours slash the Phil Corey Orchestra to round out the principal cast. The performances by everybody are solid. Everybody who was cast in this film was well chosen for the roles. Sonja Henie does a fine job in the film, matching her charisma with John Payne, and her character, she's sweet and almost innocent, coming from a rather horrible nightmare happening in Europe at the time, that being World War II. But she's young, energetic, and attractive, but she ends up being rather manipulative and possessive towards the well. You can kind of see the makings of the possessive, manipulative, almost smug nature of her character in the beginning, but it progresses throughout the second half of the film. But this contrasts Lynn Barry's character of Vivian as the talented, self-assured, beautiful singer, and she knows what she is, and she uses all of these attributes to her advantage. So, for the character of Ted Scott, you almost want to tell him, look, just run for the hills. But they both do a fine job playing their respective characters. Milton Berle adds some great humor and wit as Nifty Allen. Young Milton Berle, I think most people probably remember him from his time on television in the 1950s and thereafter. But his quick wit and his timing, it's that vaudeville kind of 1930s, 40s timing that you only get from movies like this that really hits home. Joan Davis, as I spoke of just a minute ago, she shows up 3 times briefly in here, each time just to add a little bit of extra humor, and she's always poking fun at Milton Berle's character of that being Nifty each time she shows up, which is it's always fun to see Milton Berle taken down just one notch. Glenn Miller as Phil Corey. Phil Corey, of course, is the band leader of the Dartmouth Troubadours, and Glenn Miller was a real-life band leader of his own band, his own orchestra. It's interesting to see Glenn Miller in this film because, well, usually in a movie like this where there's a big band featured or a popular musical group, usually that group is, the music is featured and the band is up on stage playing their hits. In this movie, however, Glenn Miller's character is always with his band except for a couple of scenes. However, he has spoken dialogue all the way through the movie. I wouldn't say that he's a top-notch actor, but he's surrounded by great talent, and he pulls off his part rather well. His band is also present for a number of scenes, one of which is when they meet Karen at when she gets off the boat. The whole band is there to greet the young girl, and of course it's I would assume a 16, 17, 18-year-old Karen Benson. Her age isn't actually specified, but anyways. So Glenn Miller does a fine job not only performing his songs, but acting in the film as well. That was a surprise for me. Speaking of Glenn Miller and his orchestra, they are playing some of their biggest hits up to this point in time in the film. And this movie boasts the very first gold record ever produced, which is Chattanooga Choo Choo. It sold 1.2 million copies, I believe, back in 1941-42. And I would imagine the movie had something to do with that, but I'll leave that to the experts. Still, the music in this film is one of the main draws for the movie. I wanted to hear some solid big band jazz about 7 or 8 years ago in a movie because I knew there were a number of these big band swing jazz movies that I had never seen, and this one came up and I thoroughly enjoyed it. The songs that Glenn Miller and his orchestra play were recorded using let me find it, using a method called multi-dimensional mono recording. Basically, from what I understand, multiple microphones were placed around the band or in different places, basically making it so if all of these parts could be put into a modern studio as they have been, all of those pieces could be mixed into true stereo. And for a 1940s, early 40s movie, that's very cool because Glenn Miller's hits are synonymous with that time period. He has some great songs, and hearing the quality of the music in this movie it's unbeatable. Phenomenal job with the recording of the tunes that they played. Let's see, what else do we have going on here? This is not a special effects heavy film. There's really nothing to talk about there. I will point out that Sun Valley, the resort that they go to, is actually the real Sun Valley resort in Idaho. However, the film was not filmed entirely at Sun Valley. There's kind of like a montage as the band arrives in Idaho and Sun Valley itself. All of the outdoor activities are displayed, and of course the exterior of the resort as well. The skiing, ice skating. There's a heated swimming pool, which is outside. That's kind of cool. You can see all the steam coming off of that. Those shots, as well as a lot of the skiing shots, were filmed at Sun Valley. All of the interior shots, however, were filmed somewhere, I would imagine, in Hollywood on sound stages. So, still though, it's hard to tell that you're not actually at Sun Valley. Sonja Henie does a figure skating routine, which is phenomenal. Lynn Barry's character does not do her own singing. Her singing voice is actually that of Pat Friday. Pat Friday sang a bunch on the radio back in the 40s. I think she was discovered by Bing Crosby, but don't quote me on that. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments below. Still, though, Pat Friday has an excellent voice. It almost seems a shame that Lynn Barry doesn't have Pat Friday's voice. She would be kind of like the ultimate entertainer. Beautiful, great actress and singer, but unfortunately, there's two people in her role. Still, though, Pat Friday does an excellent job with the songs that she does sing. I gotta touch on the Nicholas Brothers real quick. The Chattanooga Choo Choo sequence, it starts off with Glenn Miller and his orchestra playing the song. Tex Bennick, I believe that's his name, sings the song with the Moderneers, and then we segue over to the Nicholas Brothers with Dorothy Dandridge, I hope I got her name right, doing a song and dance version of the tune. And the Nicholas Brothers they're great dancers, but they're almost acrobatic with their style, and these guys were really good at what they did. All in all, this film has solid performances, great music. It's very well balanced. Bruce Humberston, the director, he had a great cast, and a lot of directors are great at what they do, but he delivered a solid piece of entertainment for 1941. I'm going to give this one a 4 out of 5 star rating. I recommend it. And if you need a little bit of extra humor, something light and cheery, if you want to listen to some great swing jazz performances, then I think you found the right film. Please like the video, Subscribe for more coming soon. I have another one planned. Hopefully, I'll get to work on that in the next week or so. And share this with your friends. Let them know. Let's spread some of these old movies out to new people. Of course, Jerry over drmacro.com. I got to thank Jerry once again. He's provided me with these great images from his website. If anybody's looking to use images from his website, please ask permission. I asked Jerry permission quite a long time ago if I could use images, and he has been very graceful letting me use them for my videos. But he has high quality scans of many photographs of actors and actresses, movie posters, and so on and so forth on his site. He's got quite a bit of other things around the website. You just have to explore it and see what there is. But thank you, Jerry, once again. I really do appreciate your contributions to these videos. So once again, thank you all for watching, and of course, I look forward to seeing all of you next time. I'm not breaking out into song. If you want song and dance, go watch the movie.